Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. Get into some bite down boxing. Great morning today, May 6th. Off the jump, I didn't check out the weekend's big fight with Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. Salute to you boxing fans who chose to support that one and spend your money on that with a guy who has admittedly told the public he has no intentions of fighting the guy that we all eagerly want to pay to see him fight. I couldn't fall for that one. Waited to this morning to check out Inoue, the undisputed junior featherweight champion of the world, take on Luis Nery over in what was it, the Tokyo Dome? Is that what the name of it is? Um, the skinny of it is the monster moves to 27-0 with his 24th knockout. The major headline being that the monster was dropped in the first round. In the first round, gets up off of the canvas, drops Neri with a counter left hook in the second round, and then starts taking him apart over the neck over the subsequent rounds until the sixth round with a beautiful 3 or 4 punch combination that ended with a right uppercut, right hook that damn near beheaded Neri, slumped him through the ropes. You can see here over my shoulder right there. He never got up from that. TKO 6 is the official decision. That's the skinny of it. And that he continues, Inoue continues to be top 2, #1 pound for pound fighter in all of boxing. Fascinating fighter to watch. That's the skinny of it. I'll try to not get into my entire commentary and my bullshit. Try to spare you all of that with kind of my what's next analysis or post fight analysis. But I guess it just gets down to, where do fans want to go with the fact that he was dropped? And this in boxing, I don't know what we do with this. A fighter, it's boxing. You're going to take good shots. And 99% of the fighters get dropped. I mean, only 2 dudes I think I saw a lengthy part of their career and they didn't get dropped might only be Floyd and Triple G. I guess Canelo. I don't think he's been down. But the majority of the guys go down. A lot get stopped once before they hang it up. But what do you want to do with this? How Terrence Crawford was or wasn't officially dropped by Green Machine, and you want to go on about that for the next 4 or 5 years. So what does it mean to you? What I liked was he remained poised. This was a significant fight in Japan, with it being the first fight, I believe, in the Tokyo Dome or whatever, since all the way back in the 90s, Tyson Buster Douglas fight. It's some tens of thousands of people in attendance. The question remains, it looms over this kid's head. When is he going to fight in America? Why doesn't he fight in America? Does he need to fight in America in order to be significant? And we got all of that stuff going on. But here it is. So he's dropped in the first round by this beautiful left hook from Neri, who was very confident and talked his trash and talked his stuff about what he was going to do, and that he'd studied Inoue and he has holes in his game and he's going to exploit it. He's going to exploit them and show the world what this kid really isn't. But he calmly was on the ground, looked over at his father, and regrouped. He got up. He didn't appear to be on very bad legs, but I did think he needed a few seconds to clear out the cobwebs or whatever, come back to it, regain his senses. But he recovered. He stayed poised. He tightened up his defense, his guard for 15, 20 seconds. And there was even like maybe 30 seconds later or something, he gave a little smile to Neri, which signaled to me that I'm back together. And then the concern for me became, is this the fight where Inoue, somebody actually makes him fight differently? One quick thing that comes to mind is like an example is Lomachenko. When he went up, everybody was mesmerized by all his footwork and his turning and his stepping to the side, turning, controlling his shoulder and all of that type of stuff. Did none of that against Teofimo Lopez. He did none of that against Devin Haney. So it was like, is this the fighter that makes Inoue fight conservatively and this is really Inoue against high level opposition? And then we see in the second round, Inoue starts taking chances again. He's managing his distance better. He's anticipating the punches that Neri was throwing. He's slipping a lot of his shots. The footwork is there, the movement and all of that type of stuff. He gets the knockdown, for back-to-back 10-8 rounds. And then, rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6 is all just Neri just being picked apart. And then, like I said, it all culminates in the beautiful 3 or 4 punch combination that he used to he closed the gap. And just, I love the patience and the precision. Right, right uppercut, right hook to get him out of there. We don't see a lot of guys being able to do that, put that together, and to see it, believe it, and then execute it. We just don't see that. So, and it was like, highlight knockout. The reaction from Neri, I thought he was out. But it wasn't much need for the referee to count to 10. So it did end up being, I guess, officially a technical knockout. But again, where are you? We're weird in boxing where like we root for guys who appear to be promising and who are doing significant things. We root for them to be like found out. A large number of people do. And so it's like this somehow takes away from the greatness of this dude. But like do you watch other sports? Just last week in the first game with the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, the starting guard for the Nuggets, had 3 horrible quarters and then came back in the fourth quarter, I think, with 14 points and then hit the game-winning shot to move the Denver Nuggets up 1-0 in the series. I think he hit another game winner in the second game, I believe. But do you define Jamal Murray by the fact that he had 3 bad quarters? Is that the book on him? Is that he doesn't show up in big moments because he had the bad 3 quarters? What about tennis? Rafael Nadal or Djokovic? They dropped the big time favorites in most Grand Slams over the last 15 years or whatever. But Djokovic comes out. Is that his name? So I get Jokic and Djokovic mixed up. But Djokovic, he's my favorite, one of my favorite tennis players of all time. But he comes out and drops the first set in a Grand Slam. Or golf. Tiger Woods doesn't, when he was on his heyday, he finishes above par on day 1, or he's 4 or 5 strokes back, ending the first round. Ooh. Um, we saw Dak Prescott in the playoffs against Green Bay Packers. He had a bad first quarter, and then bounced back and threw for a bunch of yards and kind of brought the Cowboys back to having a shot in the fourth quarter. Uh, but it's just all these different examples of our greats, the elites in these different sports, or the best players in these different sports, where they have these setbacks. They face adversity. And we sit here and see how they bounce back. It makes the games better. It adds to the theatrics and whatnot. It creates these highlights and these memorable games, and we move on. But here in boxing, we just want to do something different with these guys. He took a damn good shot on the button, got caught out of position, and he got dropped. So what? Is there is there some kind of weakness in the armor? He's not a perfect fighter. He's not impossible. He's not unbeatable. Whatever. After the destruction of Stephen Fulton, Cool Boy Steph, I thought he already established what he is. Now, the foolish thing that we want to do is we go from this and start talking about him and a potential fight with 140-pound champion Gervonta Davis. And this is like a function of debate show culture. We get through the end of the Super Bowl and it wasn't the best Super Bowl. Or why the hell did they mess around and let the Kansas City Chiefs win a second, consecutive Super Bowl or whatever, when they didn't have a great wide receiving core? And some of the playoffs, we thought Travis Kelce was washed, was trending in the wrong direction. So we're going to disregard this Super Bowl victory by the Chiefs and immediately go to who's going to win it next year. And who's going to win the AFC next year? Because it can't be these guys. And now we're sitting here trying to manufacture this fight that's really not even feasible. What? Because both guys are 5'5" or 5'3" or whatever they are in actuality. But it doesn't matter. There are 3 weight divisions in between these guys. And it's not a fight that should be considered in the next 12 to 18 months. There's plenty of steps for Inoue. While Inoue is going up, is kind of going up in weight. At the same time, Gervonta Davis has gone up in weight. So he's not staying at lightweight and trying to weighing his options of going back down to 130 so that these guys could potentially meet. No, he's going on and looking at other 140 champions, and then possibly, there's talk of welterweight fights for Gervonta Davis. So what are we sitting here throwing these two guys together for a fight? There's plenty of opportunities, plenty of opponents for Inoue, who started at 108 pounds, and it's miraculous and it's phenomenal in itself that he's here at 122 doing what he's doing. But this is the circus side of boxing right now, to where we seriously have to, people are willing to waste energy talking about these fictitious matchups. I just don't have time for it. Yeah, the guy got dropped. He showed a lot of poise, a lot of grit, resilience, and getting up in front of his hometown fans. You saw some excellent boxing in terms of the adjustments that he made. A couple of weeks ago, we saw no adjustments from Devin Haney. No real adjustments. with him being with Haney getting rocked in the first round and dropped in the 7th, 10th, and the 11th. And never figuring out a way to revert to his normal tactical approach to fights. Never made that happen. Here we see this guy who's older than Haney. I think has 4 or 5 less fights than Haney. But just a beautiful job of, hey, you know, I was out of bounds. I was somewhere that I shouldn't have been when I got dropped. I won't be there again until it's safe, until the coast is clear. We saw in the second, third round, he starts dropping the guard again. And just making sure he was at a range where he could see everything that Neri went to throw at him and ducked most of it. And then started countering a lot of it and whatnot. So, that's just my thoughts on it, man. People do a lot to try to ruin sports nowadays. I was just listening to some commentary on the NFL draft from a prominent sports personality. And this person wants all of these rookie quarterbacks, these incoming quarterbacks. He wants in his what he shared his analysis of the draft. He wants all of these guys and is predicting that all of these guys will fail. We need quarterbacks. We need the next crop of quarterbacks for the league to continue to be entertaining, whether you just bet on it or play fantasy football, whatever you do. But we need quarterbacks for it to be worthy of us sitting on the couch watching it. But this person went out here to say that all of these quarterbacks are going to be busts. And that's how he had to see it. And he mentions that all of the guys, or too many of them, had on shades or sunglasses on draft night. They got drafted and they all had, and that pissed him off. And it's like, what kind of a bum are you because you're in your feelings because these guys have shades on? What does that have to do with their arm talent? What does that have to do with their skill sets? What does it have to do with with them learning how to be a professional quarterback, being coached up? I have to still believe, while I might not like everything that the younger players do and young people do, I still have to believe that these guys come into the game wanting to succeed. Some of them don't know initially, early on, they don't know exactly how much more it's going to take for them to be successful, but there's a chance and there's a hope that some of them will grasp that and be receptive to the coaching and learn to do film study. Work with the quarterback coach, get together in the off season and pay for him and the wide receivers and tight ends to get together and do their training as a unit because they want to be great. It does happen. But to sit here and say that, well, they had on shades when they went up and hugged the commissioner and they had diamonds on their necks, so I hate them. That's how simple some people just go out here and kill the sports that they say they like. Instead of just watching a great young fighter, highly talented, a lot of competitive spirit, a lot of skills, great power, let the man cook. Let the man cook. So, I don't know, man. That's Bite Down Boxing's take on Inoue. We saw that he can make mistakes. He was dropped. Can any and everybody do that? I don't think so. Does he need to fight in America in order to be great? Look, man. America just isn't really the greatest place to hold a fight right now. I mean, if we didn't have this Turkey Al-Sheikh cat bankrolling this August 8th fight that's being put together, this person from outside, this figure from outside of boxing that brings this war chest of money that's not normally available, So I don't know, man. Do what you want to do with it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Good fight, good challenge from Neri, but just he ran into the problem that most guys do when they take on the monster. Till next time, bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out.